like a blimp. Maybe it's that voodoo from Marie Laveau, but I will play for Gumbo. Yeah, I will play for Gumbo. The sauce boss does his cooking on the stage.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Keating from for the Equestrian Division of Polysol Incorporated. If you're interested in any kind of arena additives or running maintenance products,
Good work. That was exciting. Really exciting. So you got overall?
Check us out on the website at
Oh, just the country, huh? Oh, I see. Just a little country called Canada. No, that was really good. Like that. Really? Well, it was good because the guy, the level of excitement in his voice, you know that you're doing well when he reads your score in breaks rather than just the total, right? So that was good.
overcoming obstacles, glory.
What a horse, what a combination, and what a time!
In a region where equestrian sport has been growing at full gallop, a brand new major league, the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping North American League.
43.83 down with just one to go.
The the best human and equine athletes of the sport, battling to qualify for the amazing Longines FEI World Cup jumping final.
Et il le fait! Oui, pour 7e! Extraordinaire, quelle finale fantastique! Increíble! ¡Qué tiempo! ¡Qué caballo! ¡El ganador!
A unique sport, rich in personalities, where human and horse must have a true partnership to succeed, and where men and women share the same podium. An electrifying finish to the Longines season, a truly global final, where the biggest stars of international jumping will fight for the trophy and a massive €1.3 million jackpot.
A world-class performance by a world-class man.
The most exciting equestrian events in 14 outstanding venues across 3 countries, Mexico, the United States, and Canada. Taking the sport across the continent to iconic cities and world-class equestrian locations. 2015 goes down in American sport history with the launch of the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping North American League. The perfect combination of high-profile sport, family entertainment, and thrilling competition. Kicking off in August across the continent.
Good evening and welcome to Day 7 at Royal West, downtown Calgary at the Agrium Event Center on Stampede Grounds. I'm Alex Grayton. I'm joined tonight with Ashton Belcher. We're going to take you through this competition. It's the $46,000 300 Open Classic presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. This is a CSI 3-star competition at 1.45 meters. So this is the second FEI competition of the second week here at Royal West. And Ashton, we have a nice list. We have 30 horses going to join us tonight. A lot of them we saw last week, several of them we saw last night, and we do have a couple of new additions this evening going to join us.
Yeah, there's a few horses on this list tonight that we didn't see yesterday. And again, we're going to see Jan Kendall riding Sombrero Brimbles of Cian White's. Cian got injured last night in the schooling ring, and Jan had the catch ride, jumping a nice clear round.
That's right, and Jan also going to catch ride with John Anderson's Granite S. We saw John compete last week with Granite, and of course Jan putting in a nice clear round on Granite last night as well. So we also have joining us from the United States for the first night of competition tonight. It's Quentin Judge. He's going to ride Double H Whiskey Royale in the 16th spot. Also of interest, we've got Laurie Jameson, an Alberta rider, coming in for the second week here. She didn't compete last week, but a nice round last night with her stallion Zeno.
This week, a bit of an interesting format for these FEI horses and riders. There's going to be 2 Table C speed classes. We saw one last night, and we'll see one again on Friday. So some of these riders opting to jump the 2 speed classes, some of them using the speed as a warm-up for tonight, and tonight a warm-up for the Saturday event.
That's right. So some of the riders with 2 FEI horses, they can really attack all 4 of the FEI competitions this week for valuable Longines rankings points. Saturday night, of course, the culminating event of the week. It's the Longines World Cup qualifier. Hopefully we're going to see a really good field, all prepared throughout the week, including from this, the $46,000 Open Classic presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. So we'll quickly go over the course for tonight. It is going to be a comeback jump off, of course. We start out on the side of the ring, and left lead approach to a nice triple bar. Bending 7 strides into the corner over the Royal West signature vertical. It's a tight rollback out of the turn to quite a tall but narrow enough brown oxer. I think the angle of that fence is going to be the biggest thing there. Not too much size or width yet at this point in the course. Probably the biggest thing to notice is the awkward bend to the Kubota vertical at 4. 6 strides, but the angle is key here. Kubota vertical setting up for 4 straight steps to the blue and white striped rail combination at 5A and B. The 1 stride a little bit long. B, of course, the first wide element on course. It is an oxer. Other than the triple bar at 1, this is the first time the horse is going to see some width there. deep into the corner as well, so horses and riders getting on their game here early in the course. Little break coming around halfway across the ring, vertical across the middle. The course designer has been friendly enough, giving the riders the opportunity to go all the way around to the triple combination at 7A, B, and C, all red rails. You'll notice, Ashton, it's Oxer, Oxer vertical, and the vertical at C is a skinny. How do we think that's going to affect the riders tonight?
I think that A is a narrow enough Oxer. Then you have 2 strides to the B element, which does carry some width. Then you've got the skinny element at C, so I think the course designer is setting them up there to see if they can cover the width but yet still back up and curl around the skinny. We probably see either the back rail coming down, riders setting up for C, or maybe C coming down, not giving their horses quite enough room.
That's right. So the course designer is setting this tonight at 1.45 m. So we're limited in height, of course, so using some creative techniques to get some of the horses careful, setting themselves up for the World Cup on Saturday night. After the triple combination at 7C, riders coming around the corner past the in-gate, across the middle, over the maple leaf skinny vertical yet again. Curling around A and B of that triple combination to the green Oxer, probably the first real width of the evening. 5B, of course, being a little bit wide, but 9 is definitely the widest Oxer we've seen yet to this point. Out of the corner over the Longines vertical at fence 10. Fence 11 is the North American World Cup League Oxer, straight across the middle of the ring. No count there, riders using as much time or space as they wish there, but that's a very wide Oxer. And finishing up over fence 12, again a Longines signature jump right beside the in-gate. Perhaps focus will be the name of the game there for the last vertical.
I think that's right, Alex. I think after giving a big effort at jump 11, which does have quite a bit of width there, maybe the horses and riders are going to almost settle and then lose a little bit of focus or momentum coming to the last jump there at jump 12.
That's right. So tomorrow, of course, a dark day here at Royal West. No horse showing going on. The horses and riders all taking a little bit of a rest to recover and prepare for the final 2 days of competition on Friday and Saturday. Tonight is a table 2 jump-off competition, comeback jump-off, of course, as a setup for the World Cup qualifier on Saturday night. And again, once again, to go over our order of go, we have a couple of horses and riders that are really on fire here. We've got Samuel Perot of Chile, who just keeps winning everything. Last night, again, first and second. He's going to be our first horse and rider coming back. Samuel Perot with TaylorMade Anna Chaka. Second place last night, also a top prize last week in the speed competition. Samuel Perot is on fire. And with that, we see the horse coming in with Canada's flag, and we're going to honor this nation with the national anthem.
So, Alex, we're just waiting for our first rider here. It is going to be Samuel Perot with TaylorMade Anna Chaka. Before we get started, what do you think some challenges are of this course that we see here this evening?
I think the Oxer at fence 3 is the first real challenge for the horses and riders to demonstrate a little rideability coming out of the turn there. That jump's going to come up fairly quickly. I think 5A and B might be an issue. Always those blue and white stripe rails hard to look at, and deep in the corner right by the in gate. The triple combination, I'm interested to see how this plays out. I think 7A and B, back rail at B maybe comes into play as the riders get prepared to make their horses sharp again for that skinny vertical at C. And then I think we have width at jumps 9 and 11. So I think there are a few spots that we could see some rails coming down. All in all, however, I do see this course as being a fairly friendly welcome for some of these top-notch horses and riders. Maybe a carefulness test, but there are some good breaks on this course for the riders to recover a little bit and get prepared for the next segment.
We do have an 85-second time allowed in the first round, but there are some long approaches from the double combination at 5A and B all the way around to 6. Then the riders are going to have to decide whether they're going to go inside or around to the triple combination all the way around to 8, 9. So there is some time that the riders are going to have to pay attention to their time allowed.
That's right. Sometimes some of the riders that go at the beginning of the class, not knowing how the time allowed really rides on this particular track, they might need to take a couple of risks, make some inside turns, just to make sure that they challenge the time allowed and make sure that the other riders are forced to do the same. Of course, we see Samuel Perreault entering the ring here. Samuel demonstrating already he's a great speed rider. This horse has plenty of blood on her own. He might not really need to make any turns to make this time allowed. This horse covers the ground quickly on her own anyway.
I think that's right. We see Samuel coming into the ring, showing his horse the jump at fence 6. That is a new fence. I don't believe we've seen that yet in the previous competitions. I also believe that fence 8, the maple leaf jump, is a new one. So last week we saw a little bit of challenge with the wall when that was used first. We'll see if these new verticals, cause any problems.
That's right, that vertical at fence 8, with the skinny rails and the maple leaf underneath it, that's hidden well behind 5B. Even though there's a break coming around after the triple combination there, I think that the horses are going to be late to notice and recognize that skinny jump right there in the middle of the ring. See also the Mercedes-Benz, of course, in the center of the ring, adding one more dimension, one more thing for the horses and riders to ride around. So we welcome on courses Samuel Perreault from Chile, tailor-made Anachaca, winding up for the start, the triple bar fence 1. Count the strides here. See 8 strides to the vertical at fence 2. Nicely settled. Samuel shifting out wide there. A little trot lead change. No problems for fence 3. And that's the track. I think we're going to see to the Kubota vertical a little struggle with the rideability there at the Kubota off the ground. And Achaka just fighting the bit there.
I think the number 3 Oxer, being as in the corner as it is going to shoot the horses out left and kind of force them to have a challenging track to the Kubota.
And there we see Samuel dropping inside to the triple combination. Be interested to see if that was actually his plan or having one fence down if he tries to be quick now. And then we see that vertical at C coming down as well. 8 penalties so far for Samuel. The skinny vertical at 8. Up and over. He kicks the flag, but rail stays in the cups. Right up and under. Get that horse snake over that back rail. See Samuel kicking on here. Again, right up under that Oxer at fence 11. This time Anachaca clearing the width with no issues. And last vertical right by the in-gate as well. So 8 faults to score, under the time allowed, time 79 seconds, so just the 8 faults for Samuel. We'll watch that time allowed, but Samuel himself 5 seconds under the time allowed.
Next in the ring, we have Jan Kendall on his first catch ride of the week. This is Granite S. Jan did a schooling class with this horse at the beginning of the week, a meter 30 class, jumped clear, and then last night, jumping clear again. It's a 10-year-old gelding, owned by John Anderson.
See there on the replay, Anachaca twisting up over that skinny and then springing way up in the air over the Oxer at 9 there. We'll struggle rideability here for Anachaca. Yeah, and of course, very cool under pressure as he gets prepared to tackle this course with Granite S. 10-year-old gelding by Faust Zed.
This is still a relatively green horse to the Grand Prix ring. Definitely a greener horse to the FEI classes. Looked as though that last night's speed round was a good, comfortable start to the partnership here with Jan. Maybe a little slow there at 3, but up and over it easily.
Much smoother over in the 6 strides to the Kubota vertical for Jan. Push across 5B, and we see that little double pump there across 5B from Jan and Granite. All in all, looking a little bit slow so far, but maybe that little extra pressure at 5B was just what they needed to get going.
I think Samuel, being a fairly quick rider and going inside and being only 5 seconds under the time allowed, is going to put the pressure on these other riders to maybe choose that same track. Granted, S through the triple combination, no problem. A little bit of a blind turn there.
Jan also right up under the Oxer at 9. Granite clearing the width, no issue at all. 3 jumps remain for Jan and Granite. Across the middle now to the Longines North American League Oxer. No issues with the width. 1 more to go. We'll watch that time allowed. Already 80 seconds. 1 jump to come. Up and over he is. And just under that time allowed. Just over a second under that time allowed. 83.80 seconds. So it is a clear round for Jan Kendall and Granite S. Our first clear of the evening. Jan on his catch ride. Excellent round.
So impressive from Jan to be able to come in here and navigate a course with a horse that he really doesn't know all that well. Speaks volumes of his ability as a rider. We see there on the replay Granite giving a double kick in the middle of the Oxer at 5B, but the rails stay in the cups. Very lucky for Jan tonight.
That's right. Big kicking up there from Granite over 7A as well on the triple, and nice to stay balanced and careful for C. Next up, local rider. This is Calgarian. This is Jen Sarek. She's riding a 13-year-old gelding Okapi de Tourlong. Celle Francais gelding by Adelphos. We've seen Jen with a lot of success here with Okapi, placing in World Cup qualifying events. Jen, of course, already traveled south to California once this fall in preparation for the World Cup qualifier here at Royal West. She competed at the Rancho Murrieta Sacramento World Cup event.
Okapi is a very scopy horse. I think Jen's taken a little bit of time to figure out the rideability, figure out the right tack. This combination, this team seems to be coming together very nicely here this fall. Little whoa.
You can hear Jen saying whoa there. Big push across 5B. Okapi looks in great form so far.
Jen didn't jump Okapi last night in the table C, so probably, hopefully, he's a bit jumping fresh. Jen opting to go around here. Again, this is a bigger horse, so she's maybe just trying to regain some rideability.
Right, we saw one evening last week when Jen maybe pushed on a bit to cover the time allowed, and Okapi became a little bit strong. Tough horse to handle when he gets on the muscle there. And unfortunately, C coming down at 7 through that triple combination for Jen. Otherwise, quite a nice round so far. Up and over the skinny with no problems. Again, everyone right up under that Oxer at 9. Sometimes that can happen when these jumps are set just the right distance off the wall. Everyone's dictated their track by coming around the triple combination, so riders are stuck having to ride that track. No options, really. Jumps.
Small rub there at the front of 11, but it does stay in the cups. And clear over our last jumps. Just 4 faults for Jen and Okapi de Tourlong tonight.
We see those 2 time faults as well. Time 89.07 seconds. So maybe that going around from fence 6 around to the triple combination at 7ABC. That might not be the ideal track, especially for a horse that moves the way Okapi de Tourlong does. If you have a hotter, quicker one, maybe can chase around to the triple. Shame about the 1 rail down. Otherwise, quite a nice round. So Jen and Okapi de Tourlong set up nicely for the rest of the week. Jumping well.
I thought the horse jumped great. You know, unfortunately, that is a tough triple combination. That the width at B carries the horse's momentum so far into the second half of the 2 stride. Just wasn't able to back up enough off C.
I think the tendency for the horses after clearing those 2 Oxers at A and B is to get it over with and just power through that skinny. Importantly, the horses need to be patient, back up and curl up over that pole at 7C. So next up, we have Alberta's Lisa Carlson. She's riding Perrette, a 9-year-old mare by Passoa VDL, Brandenburg mare. It's a big scopy mare, jumped a nice slow clear round last night in the speed event.
Very animated canter there from 1 to 2. The horse kind of pats the ground, gives a good push at the vertical.
Light rub on fence 3. Does stay up. Settling in 4 strides. Again, a rub at 5A. Does stay in the cups. No problems, 5B. See Lisa pushing on a little bit here around the corner to fence 6. It's quite a long gallop from 5B to 6. That might be a place we want to see these riders be efficient, thinking time allowed. And there we see Lisa opting for the inside turn to the triple combination. Need to power up a bit here. And now, whoa, careful. Excellent.
Very well done.
Very well done.
I think Lisa was able to trust her horse's scope there at the first 2 sets of oxers so she could set up the vertical at C. We hear Lisa clucking there around the corner. That maple leaf is a blind turn, so some of the horses don't see it quite early enough.
Front rail coming down at fence 9. Horse just anxiously pushing across for the back rail. 2 jumps to go for Lisa and Perrette. Beautiful jump, number 11. Final vertical right by the in-gate. Longines vertical at fence 12.
Again, time allowed maybe being a factor here for Lisa.
That's right, 86.48, so that does incur 1 time fault for Lisa Carlson and Perrette. And Lisa also did the inside turn from 6 to 7 ABC, so Perrette may be covering the ground a little slower than some of our previous competitors. In spite of the inside turn, that was a nice track ridden by Lisa. Well jumping Perrette. Excellent to see this nice young horse coming along through the FEI classes and developing, gaining such valuable experience here at Royal West. Next up, we've got Alberta rider Femke Korshane riding Tom Tom, 15-year-old gelding by Calvados, Dutch warm blood gelding. Of course, Femke and Tom Tom, they are no rookies at the FEI level with plenty of experience.
I spoke with Femke earlier today about Tom Tom, and she kind of chuckles and says he's such a good horse, he's so reliable, she just knows him so well.
We've talked about this before, Ashton, but in spite of this horse's big size, this is one of the more adjustable horses that we're going to see tonight, so plenty of range to the stride. He'll be able to add up out of the corner, make 1 extra stride if needed, and we see already Femke adding to the Kubota vertical. Done so handily, pushing on for 4 to 5 AB.
And handles the 4, she did an extra stride into the Kubota, but handles the 4 and then the combination very well.
That's right. See on to the vertical at fence 6.
Maybe a little wide coming to 6.
We'll see Femke going around. She'll have to be aware of the time allowed here. Try to find a place to make up for this extra time she's taking with the wider track. Unfortunately, that front rail at 7A coming down on the back rail of 7B. So 8 faults so far for Femke Korshane and Tom Tom. It's important for the riders, once they have one down on course, to try and finish up the round and set their horses up for whatever remains for them this week or even the next horse show, whatever that may be. Even though 8 faults probably won't get Femke and Tom Tom the prize they were hoping for this evening, still valuable experience in preparation for the next event. See Tom Tom exuberant on the landing from fence 11. And again, we see that time allowed catching up with Femke and Tom Tom. Time 90.46. We do have 8 jumping faults and 2 time faults, and we see Femke's father there, John Van den Bosch, looking on by the in-gate.
Alex, I think we're gonna have to see these horses and riders go inside to the triple combination. We've had a couple riders here even going inside, having a time fault. So I think if time is a factor, if you have a bit of a slower moving horse, you've got to get that turn done.
That's right, and it is a friendly enough inside turn. If you can jump up over the vertical at fence 6 and drop just inside the oxer at 9, there's plenty of room to go down the ring if you need to make that turn back to the triple. So next up we have James Chalk riding for Ireland. He's riding the 8-year-old gelding Triskel de Curleven. It's French-bred gelding by My Lord Cartago. We saw this horse jump last week. James, of course, didn't show Triskel last night in the speed competition, but we did see James have some great success last week. Been clear rounds on Friday and Saturday in the FEI competitions. Such great results for this young horse.
James opting for the 7 strides there, 1 to 2, maybe already thinking about the time allowed. It's a medium-paced horse naturally, so I think he's just going to try and stay a little prompt here. We mentioned last week how we really enjoyed this horse's jumping style. We've seen this one. Unfortunately, the rail coming down there maybe just a bit low, but generally this horse has a great jumping style, has had many clear rounds over the summer.
That's right. James taking his time developing Triskel nicely over the summertime at the Summer Series of Spruce Meadows, jumping clear round after clear round in the 1 meter 40 division. Very competitive division at Spruce Meadows. The up and over that triple combination with no problem.
Any 8-year-old that can handle it as beautifully as that horse did is very impressive.
That's right. This definitely is a horse for the future for James here. James working with Irish rider Connor Swale for quite some time now. And we just saw that up off the ground. James making sure Triskel was careful off the front rail. Stalled the canter just a little bit off the ground. Struggled with the back rail coming down as well. So 8 faults so far. 2 jumps to go for James. Looking for a nice finish. We see that time so far. Time not a problem here for James. Up and over we go. 83.04 seconds. 8 faults to total for James Chalk. And Triskel de Kerleven placing them in 5th place so far. Of course, we expect to see several jumping clear for the jump-off this evening, but we'll see if James and Triskel can hold on to a late prize. This is such a lovely horse. Here we go. This is Laura Jane Tidball from British Columbia, riding the 12-year-old chestnut gelding. This is Prime de l'Héros, another French-bred gelding. Laura Jane had an excellent week last week, jumping clear on Friday evening. Double clear Friday evening, and again a clear round on Saturday evening. We'll see what Laura Jane can put together here this evening in this jump-off competition, CSI 3-star 1 meter 45.
We saw LJ last night using the first Table C class of the week as a bit more of a schooling, nice, clear effort round. This horse a bit slower, so I think she is going to have to think about the time allowed between these jumps, especially back to the combination and then again up to fence number 6.
Plenty of air time for Prime de l'Héros.
You can really see LJ's body control there in the 4 strides to the combination. She really sits up nice and tall on the landing side.
To me, Ashton, I would expect to see riders taking a bit more of a gallop after 5B to get over to 6, knowing this time allowed has been an issue so far. Straight on the takeoff there for Prim, up and over B.
Very well done.
Super reaction for C. Very nicely done.
You can see Prim getting a little bit strung out. LJ does a great job there getting back to the oxer.
Two jumps to go for LJ and Prim. Pushing on across the middle. 1 to go, eye on the time. Shouldn't be a problem. Up and over we go. There we go. There's Brent Berlisky looking on, and of course Laura as well. Cheering on LJ and Prime de l'Héros. Clear yet again in a jump-off competition here at Royal West, and we see that LJ's fan club cheering her on too. Great to see LJ and Prim in such good form. 2 coming back for the jump-off now. We have Jan Kandel with Granite S, now to be joined by Laura Jane Tidball and Prim. We're going to see both Jan and LJ coming back again later in the course with their second horses of the evening. And here we go. We have our host here at Royal West. This is John Anderson riding his own 15-year-old gelding, Terrific, Dutch-bred gelding by Marlon. We've seen John with such great success with Terrific over the years. Grand Prix competitions, Nations Cup competitions. He's won many Grand Prix classes.
We see John with the pink on his stirrups, a pink crop, pink on his number there in the front in support of breast cancer awareness. But it is a fairly calm-colored show jacket for John tonight.
Absolutely. This is fairly tame, I must say. We see John and Terrific, that hack-a-bit combination there. Bit of a unique bridle. John taking 8 strides, 1 to 2. little bit of space around the corner. Terrific sneaking up over that oxer at fence 3. And we've talked before about this horse's unique jumping style. Terrific seems to have an awareness for his legs.
And you see John getting a good gallop there all the way over to jump number 6, opting to stay inside also.
That's right. John rides well for the time allowed. Time shouldn't be a problem here for Terrific and John. He will be efficient throughout the rest. Just across that oxer at B, and then careful. Well done by John for C. Coming around the corner, the blind turn to the skinny rail. There we see John pushing on again, thinking time allowed. Up and over the vertical at fence 10. 2 jumps to go.
Ooh, little rub there at the front of number 11.
Watch that time in the bottom right corner of the screen. No problem here. John clucking on. Clear round, a time of 82.61 seconds, so he will be our third to return for the jump off this evening. John very pleased with Terrific's jumping effort. Terrific's been such a great partner for John over the years. Really, so many years of great success together.
And such a crowd favorite. You almost don't want to say how well it's going while he's on course in case you jinx it. But very happy for John to be clear here tonight. He will follow Jan Candelli on his catch ride that John normally has. So really exciting night here for John Anderson and his team.
That's right. John as an owner with 2 horses in the jump off already. There we go. Now next up we see Jill Henselwood coming into the ring. She's riding the 10-year-old gray gelding Farfelu du Printemps. It's a Belgian warm-blood gelding by Action Breaker. Jill's one of our most decorated riders we have this evening. Silver medalist at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, gold medalist at the 2007 Pan American Games, first woman to do so in many years.
Did we just see 6 strides there?
That looked plenty forward to me.
Jill, of course, was 3rd last night with this horse.
That's right. Jill is such a good technician. She walks the course and makes a very detailed plan. I'm sure that she heard about the times of the first few riders, thinking already about time allowed. By the time she gets through the triple combination, Jill should have already made most of the time to ensure she's under the time allowed. Inside again to the triple combination.
Inside of number 9, but still getting down the ring far enough to give this horse a good approach to the triple.
That's right, and this, of course, not one of Jill's normal horses. This is owned by one of her students, one of her great upcoming students. Jill having the ride this evening. A little issue with the lead coming around the corner to that skinny. Perhaps not as comfortable as Jill would have liked, but pulling it off, no problem. Good scope there at fence 9. Again, we see that late lead change here.
Jill using a good half halt there on the way to number 11, just trying to reorganize this horse, make sure he stays focused.
That's right. Those lead changes, they can be important. You know, when you try to make turns in the jump off, if you're busy worrying about leads, that's wasted strides. So Jill making a good effort there on the way to fence 11 and 12 to school a little bit those lead changes. So we do have a clear round for Jill Henselwood and Farfelu du Printemps. Well into the time allowed, 81.16 seconds. So we have 3 in a row coming back clear, 4 overall. And look at that. That's 4 Canadian riders coming back. Always nice to see Canada's riders doing so well here at home. We welcome in Eric Martin from Manitoba, riding his 9-year-old stallion D'Artagnan. See if we can't make this 4 clear rounds in a row. And 2 horses ago, we saw John Anderson riding with that Hackamore bit combination. Here we have perhaps simplified version. This is just a plain loose ring snaffle. I'm not sure we're going to see too many other horses riding in such a simple bit in this class. Unfortunately, that front rail coming down, just coming up early out of the corner. It's a tough task for some of these horses early on to be able to power up out of the corner without getting anxious and rolling that front rail.
Really good effort from Eric and his horse here at fence 5B. Fortunately not there at 6, but 5B, the horse gave a really good effort, stretched across. Maybe that just carried forward to fence number 6.
Light rub at the back rail of B there, nicely up over 7C. See Eric finish a nice confident round here with D'Artagnan. Looks to me when Eric is able to place D'Artagnan, staying patient off the ground, it's a nice effort every time. Sometimes the horse just maybe getting a little anxious off the floor, flattening out that jump.
I think the horse is so spectacular behind that sometimes that hind end overpowers the front end. We see a little
big forward ride there to the Oxer at 11. See Eric organizing again to finish up. Fence 12 right by the in-gate. Yeah, well done. Nicely done. So 8 faults the total there. See Eric's wife, Danae, walking away from the gate there. Not the score they were hoping for, but all in all, a fairly nice round for Eric and D'Artagnan. 8 faults the score, under the time allowed. There we see that nice effort at 5B. Just across the back rail there. Next up, another Canadian rider. This is Ontario's Aaron Ballard, riding the 10-year-old chestnut gelding Apicara, Dutch Warmblood gelding by Guidam, owned by the Angel Stone Partners. We'll see, of course, Angel Stone Partners owning for Kean White as well. Aaron just calling time as her horse relieves himself prior to competition. Up we go to the canter, Aaron Ballard and Apicara. Saw Aaron picking up 2 top placings last night in the speed competition with this horse Apicara, as well as the horse we're going to see her on later on in this competition. See if she can't pick up where she left off. This horse has plenty of activity to the canter, so that jump at 3 coming out of the tight turn there, less of an issue there. It looks like Aaron doesn't have to create the impulsion in the stride that some other riders might have to do this early on.
She did a great job there of riding a track. As she jumped 3, she landed just where she wanted to be to make that 6th stride work to her advantage. Aaron also opting to go inside here. I think that's a track you got to see if you want to be under the time allowed.
That's right. Careful up over 7C. Aaron continuing to ride forward to the skinny vertical out of that blind corner. Just up and over there. Nice balance from Aaron there. Looked like Apicara getting a little ahead of himself, almost anxious to get to that Oxer at 9.
A little bit of a slice here at 10, but very well done.
Excellent.
Love how this horse finishes behind. A little distracted at the gate, but she's clear.
Up and over and clear. Time 79.96 seconds. So we're going to have a 5th rider joining us in the jump off. Aaron Ballard and Apicara will be 5th return in the 2nd round.
And again, another Canadian in the jump off.
That's right. That Oxer at fence 3. Nice form out of the tight turn. Skinny vertical. Good correction right off the ground there. Just pulling that one off. Next up, we've got Calgary's Vanessa Mannix riding the 14-year-old gelding Nirvana de Tourlong, another French-bred gelding by Rox de Latouche and of a Jalisco B mother. So Vanessa Mannix, of course, from Calgary. It's been riding with Connor Swale of Ireland for a number of years now. And Nirvana de Tourlong, one of her longtime partners, known affectionately in the barn as Kurt. See Vanessa with the pink on her brow band, also supporting breast cancer awareness this month. Vanessa, a very nice rider to watch. Nirvana de Tourlong, and as a type, this is a very big horse. A slow-moving canter, covers the ground very easily. Might not look quick, but we might see Vanessa doing always the shorter number of strides between fences. This horse did not compete last night in the speed competition. so should be performing on a few days' rest here after last weekend. Light touch on the back rail there at 5B.
You can see her kind of stepping up her pace here. She comes around the corner to fence number 6.
Nicely inside. A little tighter back to 7 ABC. Good scope from Nirvana to Turlong there.
Yeah, a little slow at A, but then the scope of this horse just covers it up very nicely.
See Vanessa competing on all coasts here. A couple of weeks ago, competing out on the East Coast in the indoor circuit. Coming out west here to her hometown for the Royal West.
Little quiet there at the vertical. A great cadence to this horse's canter as he canters along there from jump 10 to 11. You can hear him hitting the ground as he canters, and the rhythm just never changes. There we are, another clear for Canada.
Look at that, 80.84 seconds, and you know what? That horse really didn't look that fast, but as we were saying at the beginning, covers the ground so easily, few strides in between all these jumps very easily, so Vanessa Mannix going to return 6th in the jump-off. We have our local rider, Vanessa, joining us. All Canadians. This is looking good for our country. That back rail at 5B has not been a problem yet this evening. Next up, Alberta rider Elizabeth Gingras riding the 9-year-old black gelding Avalon, Westphalian gelding, by Arpeggio. This is a new horse for Lizzie. We saw Lizzie ride this horse a couple of weeks ago at Spruce Meadows in a preparation for the Royal West. A couple of classes last week as well, and Lizzie did not jump the speed class last night with Avalon. This is another tall, lean horse. Really good athletes, very narrow and leggy horse. Jumping way up in the air, and look at the pink on the boots of Avalon here. And Lizzie's going to get used to her new mount here. Avalon, horse of the future. Of course, we know Lizzie has had such great success with Silver Springs. That's a 10-year-old gelding. She's been on the senior Canadian team, Nations Cup competitions around the world with Silver Springs. Avalon, a horse for her string for the future.
Staying quite efficient here up to fence number 6. Lizzie last week had a couple jumps down with this horse, saying that she didn't quite have on the right bridle. I think she's made some adjustments. Unfortunately, I think she wanted the inside turn there, but just missed it by a fraction.
Just out of balance on the landing stride, missed that turn the last second. We'll see if Lizzie can't make up the time somewhere after this triple combination. And then we see just anxious off the ground at sea, the horse in a hurry to get out of that triple. Just getting past Lizzie there.
You see the scope of the horse there at fence number 9. Just a nice slower ride to number 9. No problem for this one at all.
Definitely a lot of great raw materials to work with for Avalon and Lizzie here. They're going to come together. This is going to be a great partnership for the future. So we do see one-time fault catching up with them as well, maybe from coming around. Had they made that inside turn of the triple combination, probably under the time allowed there of 85 seconds. So 85.21 seconds the total time. 5 faults to score for Elizabeth Gingras and Avalon.
Unfortunately, the one rail coming down for Lizzie tonight, but I think all in all, improved from last week. She's going to be happy with that going into the weekend.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got from Ontario, Kian White. He's riding for Freedom Z. 10-year-old gelding by For Pleasure, Zangerside bred gelding.
No. Unfortunately, in the ring, we had some signage coming down, so they're just going to hold up Kian here for a second before he gets started. Thankfully, somebody caught that before Kian headed to the first jump. That could have been an unfortunate distraction.
That's right. Kian getting back on course here with For Freedom Z. So we saw Kian with great success last week, not just with For Freedom Z, but his other horse as well. So For Freedom Z coming in second place in the Saturday evening FEI competition. See if he can't pick up where he left off. Kian, of course, getting injured last night in the warm-up ring. He gave the ride up on his third horse in the speed competition last night, Tian Kendall, but he's back at it today with 2 of his horses. He just caught turning in the air over 3, light rub on the back rail, but does stay up. Made for an excellent 6 strides to the Kubota vertical. No problems with that combination 5A and B. Kian taking that inside turn to the triple combination.
A little shift left. Whoa.
Good correction at B there. For as much pressure as he had to put on, the horse was very accepting of his commands for C, staying balanced for that skinny vertical. And this is another horse that doesn't look like he's covering the ground particularly quickly. Be interesting to see the time at the end.
A nice ride there at number 9 for Kian. You know, he's getting there a little close. Stays close with his hip angle even though he's waiting, and it still allows the horse to jump nicely across.
Opening up across the middle of the ring there to fence 11. One to go.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be tight, but he's under. 83.91 seconds for Kian White and for Freedom Zed. So that's the 7th one coming back. Angel Stone Partners, of course, owning not just for Freedom Zed, but also Apikara. So John Anderson has 2 that he owns in the jump-off. Kian White's Angel Stone Partners with 2 that they own in the jump-off. All of them from Canada. Great evening so far. 7 clear rounds in this class, all 7 from Canada. Next up, we've got the youngest rider in the competition, riding for the United States, but based here in Okotoks, Alberta. This is Claire Doty, riding the 14-year-old gelding Constant Surprise, Holsteiner gelding by Contender.
We didn't see Claire last night in the Table C. Maybe saving her horse for this evening's class.
That's right. Constant Surprise, an older horse, 14 years old. These horses get up to be 14 years of age. You want to save their jumps for the classes that you think you can be really competitive in. Perhaps Claire and her team thinking that this horse better suited for jump-off competition than a speed. Unfortunately, just that lead falling off the lead behind on the way to number 1 might have been just the loss of power they needed for the back rail at fence 1. Crooked to jump 3 there, got stuck in the corner, unfortunately, for Claire and Constant Surprise. This horse covers the ground very easily, getting there too early in the 4 to fence 5A, rolling off that top rail.
Claire, a very stylish rider. As you can watch her navigate the course, she stays fairly soft, very good posture over the jumps.
Claire electing to go around to the triple, having a few fences down so far. Time no longer that important for Claire this evening.
You can see the straightness here in the triple combination from Claire and her horse. Very well done. I think important for these young riders who are still getting some experience here in the FEI. She had a couple of early rails, but she's continuing to press on through this course, gaining some experience and being better for it after she finishes the timers.
That's right. The latter half of this course has been really quite lovely to watch so far. 2 jumps to go. Claire Doty and Constant Surprise. Big Oxer here at 11. Just right up under that front rail, coming down yet again for Constant Surprise. See, of course, that time catching up with them. Time faults as well to be added. So we have 16 jumping faults. 1 time fault, a time of 87.81 seconds. So not the result I'm sure that Claire was hoping for, but there's more jumping to be had the rest of this week. We have 2 more FEI competitions, culminating with the Longines World Cup qualifier on Saturday night here at the Agrim Events Center. We see entering the ring here. This is a new rider this week. Joining us from the United States, this is Quentin Judge. He's riding Double H Whiskey Royale. 10-year-old gelding, Zangerside bred gelding, owned by Double H Farm. Now, Double H Farm, for show jumping fans, everyone's going to know Double H Farm. Owning horses also for McLean Ward, Maggie McAlery, several great riders in their string. And Hunter Harrison, of course, from Double H, such a great supporter of sport. Quentin joining us up here in Calgary for World Cup points. This will be a nice preparation class for Whiskey Royale for Saturday evening. And this is a very expressive horse for anyone that's seen this horse before. It's a tail swishing, lots of action behind.
Sometimes that tail swishing and that activity behind can actually get the horses into a little bit of trouble, maybe kicking out at some rails. Clear so far now for Quentin.
That's right. We see the little breathing strips on the top of this horse's nose. Might be able to hear over the camera, actually, the breathing from this horse. So Whiskey Royale, loud breather, nasal strips on there, allowing to open those airways up. Big push at B.
The horse has great athleticism coming around the corner to the triple. Probably the tightest turn back to the triple we've seen all night, but the activity behind just gives that horse the extra push that he needed there for the first two oxers.
That's right, and Quentin is such a stylish rider. Of course, under the influence and tutelage of McLean Ward over the last several years, that will rub off on you. Such a lovely, still rider coming around the corner. All that action going on underneath him, and he sits so still, in balance with his horse. It was right up under that oxer at fence 11, that front rail coming down. And same thing again. Lack of focus there, maybe at that last jump for Quentin Judge. See Alex Wilson standing at the gate there, helping out Double H here this week. Unfortunately, 8 faults for Quentin. Time 81.50 seconds. All in all, other than those 2 jumps, that was an exceptional round for Quentin and Whiskey Royale. So in spite of the 8 faults tonight, must be feeling fairly well prepared. Often for this horse's first class here at Royal West, getting used to the surroundings a little bit as well. The horse may be fresh coming off the airplane, getting up here. So
quite a nice first half of the round. Unfortunately, maybe just getting a bit ahead of the rhythm there at 11 and at 12.
That's right. So now we welcome in our first clear round of the evening, belonged to Jan Kandel. So he comes up next, riding his second catch ride of the evening. This is the 9-year-old chestnut stallion Sombrero Brimbel, a French-bred stallion by Calvaro, owned by the Angelstone Partners. We saw Jan ride this horse last night in the speed class, not going for speed, but putting together a really nice clear round. Kian White rode the horse last weekend, had some excellent results. On Friday evening, jumping a nice clear round, we see hanging up way up in the air over the triple bar, dodging a little left as well. We'll see if Jan can rectify that situation here early on.
We did see the horse do similar last week. You know, had a great first speed round, and then as he came back in for this Friday class, a little bit high and a little stally off the ground, but it looks like Jan's being able to push him through this. Great scope there at B.
That's right. That oxer at fence 3, that was a good fix, I think. Jan found that oxer coming nicely forward. You can get the horse 2 up under the front rail to challenge it. A little spooky there at the vertical at fence 6. That sort of graffiti-looking skyline. Big push here for Jan. No issues there. There's plenty of scope. Looks to me like the horse just wants to be so careful up off the front rail that sometimes he forgets to think about the back pole. So, Jan, of course, very strong rider. Very well known for his catch riding skills as well, which we've seen already this week. Getting a little focus back. Right up under that oxer on that second last stride. I think you could see Jan wishing that he had more space, but not able to really hit the brakes there. And just rolling the vertical at fence 10.
I think the first half of this course a little demanding for this horse with the triple bar starting out, maybe just a little fatigue here through these last few jumps.
Coming in under the time allowed, just 84.61 seconds, so 8 faults to score for Jan Kandel. His second ride of the evening, Sombrero Brimbel, 9-year-old stallion. Stallions can be difficult, young horses can be difficult, and together riding indoors on a catch ride, look at that stretch over 5B from Sombrero.
An unfortunate 8 faults, but I think they've still got to be happy. Second ride on the horse, fairly big track here tonight. Very well done.
Speaking of young stallions, here we have Chicago, the 8-year-old stallion, Chicago, by Cicero Zed Van Pamel, of a heartbreaker mother, Dutch-bred gelding, or stallion, pardon me. This is Tracy Epp, the rider from British Columbia. We saw Tracy go through a nice evolution with this horse last week. The horse a little green, some struggle with rideability early on in the week, putting together an exceptional round Saturday evening. Nice double clear, bringing home 5th place Saturday night in FEI competition. And again, this young stallion, this horse has all the raw materials you could want in a Grand Prix horse. We'll see Tracy develop this horse and get to know, form a nice partnership with him.
Having to ride up a little bit in the 6. Got to make good. Really scopy there.
Chicago, not a very big horse. Tracy, of course, not a very big person. Together, nice fit, though. Plenty of scope, though. In spite of their small stature, plenty of fight between these two.
Tracy opting to go around. Not sure if that was her original plan, but she caught number 6 going quite forward.
To me, watching this horse jump last week, sometimes that head shaking we see there after the triple combination, going around to that triple combination, even though it might risk a time fault, I think that's the better choice, making sure she gets into the triple properly. Maybe she can make up some time landing from fence 9 to 10. Getting a little stuck out there after the turn. I think Tracy going to make that tighter turn there. A little head shaking again. Excellent reaction at the jumps, though, from Chicago. One jump to go. We see that time, 82 seconds already, so we are going to be over the time allowed, unfortunately. But such a lovely, clear jumping effort. Kyle King looking on, Brent Beliski. One time fault the total for Tracy Epp in Chicago, so that's 8th place overall behind our 7 clears returning for the jump-off, and Tracy very pleased with Chicago's effort yet again.
Definitely, I think that this young stallion is coming right into form here at the Royal West. We've seen it happen before our eyes last week, starting out a little bit, couple of faults here and there, and then jumping a clear round on Saturday night, and now here clear again, unfortunately with the one-time fault, but I think Tracy's going to be thrilled.
That's right. So here we have Lisa Carlson, Alberta rider, based here in Calgary, coming back for her second horse of the evening. This is World's Judgment. So this horse, of course, we've seen plenty of times with Lisa Carlson. Very competitive horse. As a matter of fact, competitive in a number of different disciplines. This horse has won a Puissance, 4-bar, been competitive in Derby competitions, competitive in Grand Prix competitions, jumped in some World Cup qualifiers in California as well. Lisa, of course, very decorated rider herself. World's Judgment on course here. Second ride of the evening for Lisa Carlson. Quite a different type of horse than her first horse of the evening. That first horse, Perrette, that 9-year-old mare, big scopy, slow moving, but plenty of power off the ground. World's Judgment, of course, feisty, smaller mare. That Oxer at fence 3 just coming up a little too early then.
Lisa opting for the 7 strides there after fence 3 coming down. We see World's Judgment kicking out a little bit at fence 5B. You know, Lisa is very courageous. This horse does not take any jumps in the warm-up ring. They lunge the horse, bring it up to the ring. Lisa gets on, sprays on some stickum, and she goes. I mean, that takes a lot of nerve, and Lisa is very tough.
That little double pump there across B, but no problems for Lisa on World's Judgment. Super reaction at 7C. Late lead change here coming around. No problem for the skinny. This horse covers the ground so quickly. Very naturally quick horse. We've seen this horse in jump-offs many times. Very fast horse.
And Alex, the lead change is not being penalized here in the jumper ring, but when a horse cross canters through the corner to this size of fence, what happens at that point?
It can cause a little bit of havoc for the riders. It can affect the horse and rider's balance. It can affect how strong the horse steps up underneath its body to be able to load up and push up in the air to clear the height and, of course, then the width of these jumps. So it can be misleading, definitely. Makes you feel like the horse is not as focused on the next jump as you wish they were. But Lisa finishing up just 4 faults to score there for World's Judgment. So we'll see Lisa again with World's Judgment throughout the week. Again, we just see that front rail rolling at number 3. Otherwise, a nice round for Lisa and World's Judgment. I'm sure they'll be back in form later in the week. Here we have Laura Jane Tidball coming back for her second ride of the evening. She's riding the 9-year-old gelding Liam by Icun. Icun standing at Creekside Farm, just south of Calgary.
So exciting for Creekside Farms to have such an exciting stallion, Icun, and then to see some of his offspring jumping as well as Liam has here, right in our hometown of Calgary.
That's right. 10 left to come here this evening in the $46,300 Open Classic presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. The CSI 3-star meter 45 class, jump-off class tonight. Laura Jane already clear with Prim de l'Hérault. See if she can't make it 2 for 2. So far, no riders returning for a second time in the jump-off. We'll see if LJ can't break that trend.
A very different type of horse here, Liam. Very large horse, where Prim is probably a bit of a smaller type. LJ doing a great job riding both horses.
This horse so tall. If you stand beside him, really tall horse, so much scope. Getting right up under 5A. LJ pushing on, and then really no problem with the width at 5B. And Liam's been in great form, jumping a couple of setup classes at Spruce Meadows a couple of weeks ago. Coming here, jumping well on the weekend. Nice clear round Friday evening.
Wonderful scope there through 7A and 7B.
Absolutely, and Liam he's a young horse, still green at this level, getting lots of experience. Tons of potential here for all the size of jumps here for LJ and Liam. No jump too big for these two.
A little fight there with the rideability. She really wanted to collect him there going to that ox or he fodder, but they did leave it up.
That's something that we notice sometimes with Liam, is that when LJ goes to settle back just a little bit there, his head comes way up in the air. Good news, of course, Liam's such a great athlete. Look at that, LJ. 2 for 2 clear rounds, but we do have a time fault catching up with LJ and Liam. 86.66 seconds, so just a second and a half over the time allowed. Such a shame, such a great jumping effort from Liam and LJ, but I have to say, LJ will be happy with that. Both horses obviously in great jumping form for this week. 2 clear rounds tonight, one coming back for the jump off, the other sitting in 8th place as the fastest of our one falters.
I was a little nervous thinking that she might see some time fault. She was a bit wide to jump number 6.
Of course, if you compare Liam to some of the other horses that we've seen this evening, just in type, Liam is slower moving, big strided horse. Not one of the hotter ones, especially coming on the heels of World's Judgment. That's a quick moving horse, covers the ground quickly, caddy horse. And Liam, perhaps the direct opposite. So here we have Jill Henselwood returning for her second ride of the evening. Here she's riding the 10-year-old stallion Quidem Blue. It's owned by Juniper Farms and Equitop Farm. Equitop Farm, an Alberta-based breeding farm just north of Calgary. We've developed this horse together with Jill Henselwood over the years. Represented Canada on Senior Nations Cup teams already. Quidem's Blue. Again, that 5A catching up with Jill and Quidem Blue, just overmaking the 4 strides there. Quidem taking the bit just a little bit from Jill on the way down there. Jill perhaps challenging him there a little more at the vertical at fence 6, coming up with a better reaction off the ground.
Quidem Blue not jumping last night in the table C, maybe looking a little fresh, distracted, I would say. Still jumping well, but just coming through these turns, you can see him kind of lose his focus, getting his eye on a different jump, and then Jill's really having to ride him to get him to the next fence.
Absolutely. Quidem Blue is breathing fire tonight. It's a handful so far. Actually, that ride to fence number 9 looked lovely. Maybe back in form now. Some of the nervous energy wearing off for Quidem Blue. See if Jill can't finish up a nice round in preparation for the rest of her week. Light rub at fence 11. And we see the time fault again. 85.79 the time, so 4 jumping faults, 1 time fault for Jill Henselwood and Quidem Blue. 12th place so far for Jill. Jill, of course, has 1 coming back in the jump off already. Sometimes can be a difficult decision with these horses, especially with stallions, to decide not to jump them so much. You want to save the jumps for them. But as we see, Quidem Blue coming out maybe fresher than Jill was hoping for.
I think, too, Jill definitely planning to go inside after jump 6, but a little bit of hesitation there from Quidem Blue. She had to go outside and then having the time fault there.
Next up, we have Alberta's Laurie Jameson riding KVF Zeno, 11-year-old chestnut stallion by Quattro out of a Burgraff mother. It's a Dutch-bred stallion. Until a few years ago, Zeno's been seen in the Hunter Ring, with good success actually in the Hunter Ring. A lot of his offspring are already out on the show circuit.
Zeno, of course, standing at stud at Laurie's farm, Klondike Victory Farm, just outside of Red Deer.
Late 6 to the Kubota. We'll see Laurie regroup here in time. Yes. Push across 5B.
Laurie also definitely a crowd favorite. Such a nice person. everybody's always rooting for her. Around here for Lori, I think she's going to have to be careful that she doesn't open him up too much.
That's right, Lori. Thinking about time allowed taking the outside track. But, of course, Zeno, as we saw last night, a little rambunctious last night as well, the rideability catching up with her in the end. But just 7A rolling off that pole. I think, Ashton, I think you're right. Just opened him up maybe too much around the corner. Couldn't get him back focused in time, rolling the pole there.
She really had to bend it out there to number 9. A couple more strides than maybe she had been planning for. Lori recently taking many clinics with the legendary George Morris, and I would say that over the past year we've seen better results from Lori on both of her Grand Prix mounts.
Absolutely. Just the one jump coming down, 81.45 seconds, the time there for Lori. 10th place so far, so that is the quickest 4 faults that we've seen so far. Lori Jamieson and KVF Zeno. All in all, I have to say, nicer organized round compared to last night's speed. The horse looks like he's in good form. Again, we see these stallions coming into a new venue. Lori not showing last weekend. Sometimes you have to get them focused and paying attention within the ring and not so much on whatever's happening outside of the ring. Here we have Ali Ramsey from British Columbia, riding now with Jill Henselwood from Ontario. She's riding the 8-year-old mare, Hermeline van de Hoekhove. Belgian warm-blood mare by Tangelo van de Zoethove, out of a Thunder van de Zoethove mother. And Ali's had herself quite a good show so far. A couple of top placings last weekend in the FEI competitions. And last night, Ali putting in a nice round. One jump coming down, but otherwise quite a nice round.
Ali quite a aggressive rider. You know, she's a littler rider. This is not a tiny horse, and you can see her every stride. She's really working with the horse, trying to get exactly the right result out of her. Very well done there in the 6. Yeah.
I think Ali and Hermeline also almost over making the 4 strides to that fence at 5A, but Hermeline very receptive to Ali's cue off the ground to stay slow, get up out of the way of 5A and not rush that.
Good effort at jump number 6 from Hermeline, maybe just a little close.
This horse comes off the ground really sharp. Again, I think close at the triple combination 7A, but no problem with that front rail. Obviously lots of scope here. The horse covers the back rail on her own.
I liked her ride there to fence 8. It was a little off the base, continuing coming forward, gave the horse a good opportunity there. Little under fence 9, you get the opposite, but the horse still handling that well.
And we hear Hermeline pat the ground there. Leviosa right up there. One jump to go. Ali Ramsey and Hermeline. Look at the time. This is already very quick time. No issues with the time allowed. Excellent. Well done. Ali Ramsey clear again in an FEI competition with Hermeline. Ali very pleased with her result tonight. 78.30 seconds. Look at that. We've got an 8th rider coming back, an 8th Canadian rider coming back for the jump off.
Is this an all-Canadian jump off at this point, Alex?
Absolutely. So far, 8 Canadians coming back for the jump off. We're going to see if we can't make 12 Canadians in the top 12. That must be some kind of a record if we can actually do that. Here we go. This is Erin Ballard returning for her second ride of the evening on Hera van de Koterhove. 8-year-old mare. Belgian warm blood mare by Dawson van de Padenboer. We've seen this horse for the last week or so, several classes with Erin. Quite a nice jumper. Again, lots of good technique, lots of things to like about this horse. So a couple of instances where the rideability catching up in these short corners.
Alex, I think that's one of the challenges you have of riding indoors. You know, some of the lines are going to force you to open up your horse, and then being able to get them back soon enough for those jumps that come up quick out of the corner. You see Erin's horse here just handling the triple bar at fence 1 very well.
Such a lovely jumper. We see even between fence 1 and 2, Hera just shaking her head a little bit, again coming above the bridle out of the corner to 3, but such a good jumper. Excellent technique. Just getting a little upside down on the way to fence 5A. Jumping a little belly low there. Yeah, good recovery. We see Aaron taking a little extra time after 5B to regroup. Nice effort up over the vertical at fence 6, and again outside, around to the triple combination. Aaron not thinking about time anymore. Aaron thinking about making a nice round in preparation for the rest of the week. Unfortunately, just light touch behind on the way down from that triple combination 7C. Great experience for these young horses coming inside. Nowadays, with lots of indoor show jumping to be had during the winter months. It's something that horses and riders together, they both need to practice and get used to, competing indoors in these tight confines. Nice big arena here at the Agarium Event Center, but nonetheless.
You see Erin having to hold on to her outside rein a little bit more than she probably would like to, holding the horse out on the rail.
That's right. 12 faults the total score there for Aaron Ballard and Haraventa Kotarhova. 12 faults, 83.89 seconds the time. So that's out of the running for tonight with Aaron. But Aaron, of course, going to come back with Apikara in the jump off.
You see there in the replay an excellent effort at 5B. Such a scopy horse.
Yeah, absolutely. And just rushing and pushing the balance at that vertical at fence 10. I mean, with those knees a little wide and low. Nonetheless, good practice. We'll see Aaron and Hera coming back later in the week, I'm sure. Next up, we have Samuel Perot from Chile. He's riding the 13-year-old gelding Couscous Van Orti, Belgian warm-blood gelding by Nabab Derev. Samuel has won so many events already. We'll see if Samuel can't put together his first clear of the evening.
Beautiful form there, fence 1 and fence 2. And a little bit of an earlier track to fence 3, jumping it a little bit right to left.
Big effort over 5B there for Couscous. Couscous, plenty of experience together with Samuel and with his previous rider. Whoa, Peter DeVos, look at that. Just a miscue there on the way to the vertical at fence 6. Samuel is up. He appears to be okay. Shaking it off. Samuel's such a good character. Excellent rider, and he's in such top form. Such a surprise to see that sometimes. But in this sport, that can happen to anyone at any time.
Let's
just catch Couscous here, heading to the gate.
Yeah.
Recognizes his people. There we go. So, horse and rider seem to be okay. I'm sure that we'll see Samuel and Couscous again in good form. That was a surprise to me. Look at that huge jump over 5B. Turning the corner. We'll see what happened here. Yeah, it looked to me like Samuel was ready to leave that stride out. Couscous had, of course, other ideas. He did not see that same thing. You know, he's not the first horse that we saw this evening take a look at that graffiti vertical with the skyline at fence 6. I mean, that's just a funny-looking horse for these jump for these horses coming off the track there.
Next in, we see Chris Sorensen, another Canadian. This time, Chris is here with his 13-year-old black gelding, Bobby, by Concord. Chris jumped last week, and we were really impressed with how Bobby was jumping. Really experienced horse. They have jumped many clear rounds. We're hoping that they're going to get another Canadian here in the jump-off.
That's right, Chris and Bobby. They have had a partnership for so many years now, jumped all over the world, including in Aachen. We see Chris calling time for Bobby to prepare himself. And off we go now. We're ready. We get the buzzer. So, Chris Sorensen and Bobby, they jumped a nice double clear on Saturday night. That was their first class of the show, and now this is their second competition of the 2 weeks of Royal West here.
A couple interesting things we notice here. We've got a red ribbon in the tail, hoping that Bobby can get a little bit more space in the schooling ring. We also see Bobby sticking his tongue out there to the side through the bridle, and Bobby going without any front boots or bandages on his front legs. So a couple of interesting things here for this particular combination.
That's right, and getting a little stuck in the corner out of the way there to 3. No problem. There's plenty of scope here for Bobby and Chris. All that experience. Excellent balance there. Nice scope at 5B.
Chris being efficient here, back up to fence number 6.
No issues there for Bobby.
This seems like such a world-class horse. All the scope you could need. Careful. Little rub there. Fixes it for B. Little rub at C,
Little
but
rub
it
at
stays
C.
up.
Yep, does stay in the cups. Up and over that skinny with the maple leaf under it at fence 8. And Chris nicely pushing on the landing from fence 9, thinking it's about time allowed. Already done the inside turn to the triple combination. One fence to go. Chris Sorensen and Bobby will look at the time. No issues at all. There we go. Such an experienced partnership. Look at that. So, clear round, 83.87 seconds. What do you know? We've got a Canadian in the jump off.
Not one, not two, but 9.
That's right, 9 clear rounds, 9 Canadians coming back. See, look at that tongue flapping away in the breeze there.
I think he's sticking it out at you, Alex.
Well, I certainly hope not. 9th coming back there for Chris Sorensen and Bobby. So excellent. Out of a 30 starter field, kind of expect to see anywhere between 8 and 12 clear rounds from this field over 1.45 m, and it looks like we're going to be right in around that number. Got Cian White for Canada coming back. His second ride of the evening is going to be riding Carrera Van at Westlaven Z, an 11-year-old Zangerside-bred mare by Canadian River. We saw this horse win Friday evening's competition, last Friday, the FEI competition. Nice double clear performance for Cian and Carrera. So a nice type, this horse. Good angle across fence 3. Getting up to that vertical at fence 4. The 6 strides very easily. A little late recovery there. Excellent balance from Cian. Good recovery in 5A and B there.
I certainly hope that whatever the injury was that Cian experienced last night in the warm-up ring isn't going to hinder him here for the rest of the week.
Cian and his horses all in great form so far. Up and over B.
Ooh. Excellent
Balance for C. And Cian, of course, having the advantage. He's already ridden this course.
Ooh, a little flat there at the Maple Leaf, but it stays in the cups.
Cian looking to be the first of our riders to return with 2 for the jump off. Cian already clear with For Freedom Z. 2 jumps to go. Cian thinking time allowed. Big gallop across the way there to fence 11. No problems at all. 1 to go. Looking at the time allowed. Maybe good that Cian opened up for that Oxer. And clear. He does it. Cian is going to be the first rider to come back with 2. And we see Cian's groom. Happy, excited, surprised, maybe all of the above. 83.42 seconds. Cian White and Carrera Van at Westlaven Z. Coming back 10th in the jump-off order. 10 Canadians. Great day for the Maple Leaf. 3 horses and riders to go. 1 Canadian, 1 German, 1 American. And here we have our German rider. This is Marion Osmeyer, now based out of Okotoks here in Alberta. So now affectionately a local is Marion Osmeyer and the 14-year-old mare Roulette, Hanoverian-bred mare by Rabino.
Marion having a very successful August at Rocky Mountain Show jumping in the Grand Prix field with Roulette. I believe they won 2 back-to-back Grand Prix there in August.
2 FEI Grand Prix, exactly. So we do know that Marion and Roulette can perform at this level. Obviously quick in the jump-off, so we're looking for Marion and Roulette to put in a nice clear round. They may not have to worry about time allowed, naturally quick across the ground already.
I heard Marion and Jill Henswood having a little discussion the other day about the Table C speed class and just talking about track and how the track between the jumps around the corners can be so important for this particular horse. Unfortunately, a little low there jumping into the combination at 5A.
That's right, Marion opting to do 7 strides from jump 3 to 4 and then having to let go a little bit to make the 4 steps to 5A. That might have been just enough to flatten Roulette out. Marion finding the inside track to the triple. Back rail at 7B.
I think that's the first time we've seen maybe the back rail come down, if I'm not mistaken. I thought we maybe would have seen that a few more times. Obviously, with that, lots of scope here in this class tonight. Nice stretch there at fence 9.
That's right. The trouble spots in the evening, they seem to have been more carefulness tests rather than scope. In spite of the wide width at fence 9 and 11, those back rails not coming into play nearly as much as you might have thought. And then we see the front pole coming down at number 11. More front poles and more verticals coming down than any kind of scope test. So, 12 faults the total for Marion Osmeyer and Roulette, 82-86. We see Marion just getting Roulette back under control there. Really feeling that she got a little strong there at the end. Didn't need to necessarily have that fence at number 11, that front rail at fence 11 there.
I think anytime you have a blood horse like Roulette, you have to be very careful about how much you let the horses out at the beginning of the course. Maybe this one just getting a little bit flat there in that 4 stride into the combination.
Second last to go. Here we go. We've got Canada's Ben Asselin. He's riding Plume de la Roque. It's a 12-year-old French-bred mare by Cannon. It's a new horse. We haven't seen this horse competing here at Royal West. Ben having a nice round last night on his 2 horses, 2 mares, Carmen and Warhaftiga. Here we have a brand new mare. This one he's gearing for the World Cup on Saturday evening, of course. Ben has been showing good form with Plume. Here we go inside now. Ben taking home 3rd place in the Longines World Cup qualifier at Thunderbird Show Park in August. Nice inside now to the triple combination. Little shift off the ground at 7A. Good correction from Ben. Light rub at 7C.
A beautiful type this horse is. Scopy, rangy. Seems to be a really good match for Ben. You can see there just a little long at that vertical, and the horse still comes off the ground really well.
That's right. This horse seems to have just the right amount of blood that you would want for indoor show jumping. You know, when you come out of those corners and the jump shows up early, this horse has plenty of impulsion, plenty of desire to go. Lots of forward intent that you want. You see that wide oxer coming out of the turn. Nicely up and over fence 11.
One more to go here for Ben.
No issues at all. Look at that. So, 80.93 the time. We have our 11th clear round, our 11th Canadian coming back. Ben Asselin and Plume de la Roque coming back 11th in the jump-off. That's a lovely horse.
So far, an all-Canadian jump-off, is that right?
That's absolutely right. And our fastest one-time faulter is Laura Jane Tidball. So far, top 12, all Canadians. All Canadians in the top 12. A great evening for show jumping here at Royal West for the $46,300 Open Classic presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. CSI 3-star meter 45 class coming back for the jump off. So here we have our final entry of the night. This is American Grand Prix rider Kyle King. He's riding his big 12-year-old chestnut gelding Quigley by Kedems Rubin, Oldenburg bred. Kedems Rubin out of an Argentinas mare, so good pedigree here. This is, of course, one of our other really large horses that we're going to see.
I think you're going to see Kyle leaving out some strides easily.
Over in 7, 1-2, no problem at all. The second horse of the evening we've seen with that Hackamore bit combination. So scopy, this horse. See Kyle really making a big half halt there just to be able to fit in the 6 strides from 3 to 4. I've seen some other horses get there in 7.
I think at this point, Kyle's been just out of the ribbons here in these FEI competitions, and he's really looking to take home a piece today.
That's right. Throughout the competition here at Royal West, Kyle, of course, he's been competitive. He's taken home quite a number of wins in the young horse classes, meter 20 and 30 competitions as well. Looking for his first clear round here in the FEI competitions with Quigley.
I think a little bit, Alex, the size of this horse, not typically conventional for an indoor horse, but Kyle doing a really great job of doing the best he can.
Absolutely. Kyle sometimes looks busy up in the saddle, but he always pulls it off. He's always in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, that jump coming down at fence 10. Kyle is an excellent ring rider. We saw Yan Kendall earlier catch riding away. Kyle's also known for his catch riding skills. So just a one jump coming down for Kyle and Quigley, keeping them out of the jump off. Time is good, 80.47 seconds, so that's going to put them in 14th place overall. This competition does count for the Longines rankings points, so 14th is going to be good enough for Kyle to pick up some ranking points. All in all, setting himself up nicely for the World Cup on Saturday evening. Be interested to see if he elects to take one more class on Friday evening's speed competition, or if he's ready to wait for the World Cup with Quigley. So, 11 horses and riders coming back for the jump-off. All Canadians. We will be singing "O Canada" at the end of tonight's competition. Course designer and course builders are going to reorganize the ring here, move a couple of jumps, and get prepared for this jump-off. Quickly go over the order here for the jump off. We've got Yan Kendall coming back first with Granite S. Laura Jane Tidball with her one ride for the jump off, Prim de la Roe. John Anderson, our host at Royal West, coming back with Terrific. Jill Hensel with Farfalou du Printemps. Aaron Ballard with her chestnut, Apikara. Local rider Vanessa Mannix with Nirvana de Turlong. Kian White coming back for Freedom Zed. Ali Ramsey, who's been on fire here, coming back with Hermeline. Chris Sorensen coming back with the well-experienced Bobby. Kian White, our only rider to come back with two for the jump-off, with Carrera, Van at Westlave, and Zed. And finally, Ben Aslan and Plume de la Roque. Expect to see a quick jump-off, fast jump-off. We're going to see these riders taking a few risks out here. We'll be back in a few moments, go over the jump-off course.
So, Alex, we're just about set here for round 2, the jump-off round. And we'll just quickly go over this course. Our first rider is at the gate ready to walk in. The riders are going to start off at jump 11, which is the North American League Oxer across the center of the ring. Then they're going to continue to the Longines vertical, jump 12 by the gate. They're going to make a right-hand turn. I'm not sure if you're going to see any inside turns there to that vertical at jump number 6. Left-hand turn to the double combination now, 7A, 7B. 7C was removed, so it's just now the Oxer. Those do look a bit taller now, so definitely going to have to give your horses some room through the turn. After 7B, you're going to come back up to the triple bar at fence 1. I think you might see some do 6 strides there now to jump 2, maybe 7, and then it's again a right-hand turn back to fence number 3, long gallop down to fence 5B, which is the blue and white Oxer heading right towards the gate. A little bit of an optical illusion there at 5B. Riders are going to have to be careful they don't go too fast.
That's right. I think from that triple bar over to the vertical at fence 2, still, I would assume we're still going to see 7 strides. Those riders thinking about a tight rollback to fence 3. You can get over there in 6, I'm sure, but that's going to make for a harder rollback to fence 3. Huge gallop coming home. Be interesting to see how fast we get here. Good mix of galloping and turning in this jump off here tonight for the $46,000 300 Open Classic presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. CSI 3-star competition, 1.45 m. It's our first jump off competition of the second week here at Royal West. If you're just joining us, we do have 11 horses and riders coming back for the jump off, all Canadians. We see our first one in the ring now. This is Jan Kendall. He's riding Granite S. It's a catch ride for Jan this week. We saw him jump such a great clear round last night. Also, obviously, clear in the first round tonight. He came early in the course tonight, and he managed to squeak under that time allowed. Ended up being more of a problem than I think some riders were expecting. So Jan going to show us what he's willing to do as a risk with Granite S, his catch ride tonight.
Granite S, of course, owned by John Anderson. John Anderson, we're going to see him later with his own horse, Terrific. So John owning 2 horses in tonight's jump off.
So course designer lowering that front rail of jump number 11, make a little ramp for the first jump on course 11. Still quite a wide Oxer to get things going here. Riders can take a pretty big gallop, I think, to fence 11 to get started.
It'll be interesting to see how quick Jan is here in the jump off with this horse. He really doesn't know.
Looking for that inside turn to the triple, or now the double combination, 7A and B. Beautiful effort. Curling left over top of B, getting a head start on that turn back to the triple bar. And Granite just falling behind, I think, Jan's eye there for a moment. Good correction from Jan. Tight roll back to fence 3. Now nothing in the way. As tight as he wants. Big gallop coming home. Jan opening up, nice long stride, not putting the pedal to the metal particularly much. That clear round. Getting us started. Time is 49.15 seconds. Importantly, it's clear. See Ben Aslan looking on there from the gate. Watching, making a bit of a plan. Ben, of course, last to come back in our jump off tonight.
What a wonderful effort here by our first horse and rider combination. Again, Jan, not knowing this horse very well, puts in a double clear effort. Great start to the week here for this combination.
Absolutely, and seeing the turn to the triple bar, it's sometimes where partnership, getting to know your horse, and your horse getting to know you as a rider can pay off. That ride, that positive forward ride, maybe stronger than Jan was hoping for the triple bar, but pulling it off excellent. So, second back, this is Laura Jane Tidball from British Columbia. She's riding Prime de la Roe. And here's a partnership that's been together for quite some time. We'll see if their experience together can help them beat Jan's time of 49.15 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on that time throughout the course.
I noted in the first round, Alex, LJ's position here with this horse. He lands maybe a bit low in front, and she does a great job of sitting back up and getting him forward to the next jump. He does hang up a little bit, but you see her here landing and galloping onto this next jump.
That's right, and LJ finding one more stride from fence 11 and 12, but we do see that sets up for that inside turn, that tight turn That
Excellent
spooky
there.
vertical 6, and that will certainly save her time. Nice roll back inside to the double 7AB now. Big push at 7B.
Very good ride by LJ. She did not leave anything there.
Absolutely not. She knew that was going to be a big kick across B and got started right away. Well done to the triple bar. Shaping out a little for the Oxer at fence 3. Now, clear. One jump to go. Crowd starting to cheer. We watched that time, 43 seconds so far. It looks like she's going to beat that time. Clear round it is. Look at that, 47.07 seconds. 2 seconds faster than Yan Kendall and Granite. Such a daring turn to fence 6 inside, right beside the Mercedes-Benz there before the roll back to the combination 7A and B.
And
Big cheering section there for LJ.
And that's where LJ has the advantage. Having such a great partnership with this horse where Jan, our first rider, really didn't know his. That inside turn maybe wasn't in his plan, but definitely worked out well for LJ. I think if you want to beat her, you're going to have to do the same thing.
Absolutely. I think that's the track. You can have a horse. If a horse covers the ground faster, takes quicker steps, or maybe just a little quicker across the jumps, that's going to be the ticket here. But I'm not sure that you can make much more in terms of track. That was an aggressive track for LJ and Prim. See John taking a long look at this vertical at fence 6 as well. He's planning that inside turn, I think. John Anderson and Terrific. Third to come back for the jump off.
John winding up here already on a good pace to start off his jump off.
I've seen John in a lot of jump offs with Terrific over the years. He can certainly make a run for it. John, same number of strides, 11 to 12 as LJ, one more than Yan with Granite. Inside to that vertical 6, just twisting over the vertical, leaving it up. John again also going to have to kick on here. Wide over 7B. No problems at the triple bar. Setting up over the vertical at 2 for a tight rollback to jump 3.
A little close here.
Quieter.
Come on, John.
Eye on the clock. Steadying up for that second last step there. And we see that. That's the answer, I think. 47.13 the time. So second place so far. John just settling down on the way to that last jump there. Got to wonder if he could have left out a stride there on the way to that last jump.
I think for sure he could have left it out, but I think what John was thinking there is it was too risky. Double clear was going to be fast enough.
Absolutely. Double clear, always a good way to set your horse up for the next competition. This is not the final event of the week, so these horses and riders saving something in the tank for whatever's left to come. Fourth to come back for the jump-off of our all-Canadian jump-off. This is Jill Henselwood. She's riding Farfalou du Printemps, a 10-year-old gelding. This horse was in good form in the first round. To me, like Jill, spent a little time at the end of her first round making sure those lead changes work together. We'll see if that pays off for some tight turns. See if Jill wants to take that inside turn to the vertical at 6. It's a different type of horse yet again from the previous ones. There we see one less. And that coming down at fence 12. Maybe anticipating the turn. It's tough. Early on in the course, right beside the in-gate, trying to think about being quick.
Even with that jump down by the gate, Alex, there was such a great slice at fence 6 with that inside track. Really well done there by Jill.
See this horse jumping through that combination 7A and B. Excellent technique behind. Very tight in front as well. This is a neat horse. Even with the one jump down, Jill not obviously going to win tonight. Practicing, making sure that she practices those jump-offs with this horse, Farfalou, really opening up for this last jump. Look at the time, 46.23, so one jump coming down, but she did, of course, have the time. Early rail and still had the time. Unfortunately, those 4 faults going to prevent Jill from taking home the win tonight.
And a great setup there for Jill for whether she decides to jump this horse on Friday or Saturday. You know, going a little bit faster here in the jump off, making those inside turns is only going to make this partnership stronger. What a great effort here.
Absolutely. That's a neat horse to watch for the rest of this week here at Royal West. 5th coming back, Aaron Ballard, and then Apikara, the 10-year-old gelding by Guidam.
This is an interesting horse. Really active, but I think he's going to cover the ground really well here in the jump off.
Be interesting to see. We see this horse sometimes in the first round shaking his head a little, so we see. Be interesting to see how much that catches up, or if it even matters going at higher speed. Getting a little bouncy there by the in-gate. I think Aaron having to add a stride at the last second there. Aggressive slice there at the vertical at 6. Such a positive forward ride. Pushing on 7B.
This jump off here really showing the strength of our Canadian string of riders. Aaron Ballard here, great slice again at fence number 6, as was Jill Henselwood.
There we see the 6 strides from 1 to 2 for Apikara. Easily making the roll back to fence 3. Light rub on the back. Look at the time. Watch this. This is fast now. 42.88 seconds. So there's 5 seconds off the lead right away. Aaron Ballard and Apikara. That was pretty quick. That's going to be hard to beat. She sets the tone here for the remainder of our riders. We've got 6 horses and riders to come.
You can see a big smile there from Aaron. She is thrilled with this horse tonight. Like I said, he's really active, covers the ground really well. Seems to be a super indoor horse, but I bet even a better outdoor horse getting across a big open field on that long stride.
Absolutely. I think from the first 2 jumps, she did one less stride than we've seen. Definitely after 7B getting over to that triple bar. That was the most efficient track in number of strides that we've seen so far. And even with that track to the triple bar, she still gets 1 less to the vertical at number 2. So, and definitely something left out coming home. So that was pretty quick. Big stride from Apikara. Nice positive ride. Holding down the lead, Aaron Ballard.
Aaron was really confident going down to that last jump where we saw John maybe half halt and finish a nice double clear. Aaron left it all out on the line there.
That's right, and here we have Calgary rider Vanessa Mannix riding her trusty gelding, Nirvana de Turlong. Nirvana, known as Kurt, of course, Kurt Cobain, the connection there. We have Vanessa and Nirvana looking at that inside turn to the vertical at fence 6. It's again a different type of horse. We watched this one, quite a quick first round time in spite of his sort of long, lopey, slow appearance. This horse did cover the ground very quickly. And right up under that vertical at fence 12. Makes for a nice turn on a landing, but it is a slow option. Perhaps one more to the vertical at fence 6 than Aaron. Right up under 7A and no issues covering that. 2 strides in the back rail. And that's playing to the strength there for Nirvana. 6 strides after that triple bar. Such a positive ride to the triple bar, and then 6 steps after. No problems. And we'll see Vanessa open up the stride coming home. Not going to beat Aaron's time. She leaves this up. She should be in good position for second so far. There we see 45.06 seconds. Couple of seconds off the pace from Aaron Ballard and Apikara, but that is good enough for second so far. Local rider Vanessa Mannix and Nirvana de Turlong.
Maybe an advantage here, Alex, for these horses with a bigger step or a rangier step, getting across from 7B over to the triple bar. Aaron and Vanessa also doing 6 strides from the triple bar to the vertical and then down to that last jump. Vanessa not as wide open as Aaron, but still a big stride there, gets her down there in a really good time.
Next back, we have Kian White, Ontario rider, coming back on the 10-year-old gelding for Freedom Z. Kian already shown us once earlier this week on Saturday evening. He can go quick in the jump-offs for Freedom Z. He was second place Saturday evening. See how fast he chooses to go tonight for Freedom Z, knowing that he has one more chance in the jump-off.
I really like this combination of horse and rider. Kian really seems seamless with this horse. Never too much miscommunication.
And Kian opting for 1 extra step there to fence 12. Again, makes for a nice turn, but to wonder if there's a possibility of 1 less to fence 12 and still making that turn. Very tight back to 7A.
Beautiful.
Kian sensing right away on the landing, pushing on for those 2 strides. There's an aggressive ride to the triple bar, but just not quite making it. Kian saw that from far back. He needed to chase on. Kian getting for Freedom Z back on track. As soon as he stopped, he was a little worried, so Kian going to take his time. Coming around and going to finish up nicely to set up for the rest of the week.
I think maybe there, Alex, just a little bit of a blind turn and quite a long distance there to the triple bar. But had it have worked out, Kian would maybe be a bit faster.
Absolutely. A little extra time rolling back to fence 3.
Unfortunately, that's the risk that a jump off causes you to take. You know, he wanted to be a little fast there after the combination and maybe a little too quick for his horse to get his eye on the jump.
That's right. So we have 20 faults in total. That time 73.11. So in the jump off in FEI competition, those time faults are 1 per second. Those time faults do accrue at a fairly high rate there. 20 faults in total. So 7th so far for Kian White and for Freedom Zed. We will see Kian coming back in a few horses. He's going to come back with his mare Carrera. Again, another horse that he's had good success with already this week. So next up, we've got Ali Ramsey. She's coming in. She's been competitive already. She's showing Hermeline van de Hooghove a couple of those turns. Shown her the inside turn to that vertical at fence 6. Shown her the triple bar on the side.
Ali's proven to be a force to be reckoned with. Looks like she maybe is even taking a bit of a different approach here. Oh, maybe just showing her horse the first jump or the rollback here. But last week in the jump off, she went fast and she went for it, and we'll see again. I bet she's going to be aggressive here tonight.
Absolutely. Ali was second on Friday evening's class FEI competition. This 8-year-old mare by Tangelo. See if Ali can't hop on the Nimbus 2000 with Hermione. Light rub at 11. A little quieter distance than she would have liked to get started here in the jump off.
One thing that you saw from Erin Ballard going to the first jump, she took that pretty straight on, getting a really good straight track.
A little deer hop over fence 6 there. Again, probably not what Ali was hoping to see on that angle. Such a scopy horse, though. Very nimble, very agile. There's that forward one that Kian was hoping for, and Ali going to the little shoulder whip there, pulling that off, no problem. 6 strides after the triple bar. Now, heading home, Ali just losing her balance a little over top of that fence 3. Not going to catch Erin. Might be in contention for second. 44.70 seconds. So that is good enough for second so far. 2 seconds off the pace set by Erin Ballard. That really makes you appreciate how fast Erin was traveling. To be 2 seconds faster than that even.
I think, like I said, Alex, Erin's track to jump 11 just made her skim right around 5B. 1 less stride there to 12. Ali a little bit slower, maybe indecisive there, coming back on that slice to fence 6, but she was quick after the combination, up in the 6 strides and effective down there to the last jump.
That's right, those first 3 jumps just maybe putting her off the pace right from the get-go. Really great finish, though. Here we have our first of 3 to come back. 3 remaining. This is Chris Sorensen, Ontario-based rider. He's riding Bobby, the 13-year-old black gelding by Concord. Chris and Bobby, lots of experience, lots of jump-off experience, great success at international competition. Interesting to see Chris. He jumped double clear on Saturday evening with Bobby. He jumped an efficient jump-off, but definitely didn't take all the risks, didn't open up his horse as much as some of the other riders. I think in the back of Chris's mind, of course, is the Longines World Cup qualifier event on Saturday evening. I think Chris will make a nice double clear, practice a jump-off a little bit. I would imagine that he's not going to try to overtake Erin, but still just work his way into the mix somewhere.
What's really amazing about this horse is just how effortless it is for him to open up and just cover the ground.
Absolutely. That's the 9 strides from 11 to 12. Getting to 12, nicely balanced to make the inside turn.
Beautiful expression there over that slice. Maybe a little wider here than Erin.
Yeah, just clipping himself off the ground, taking that front rail at 7B. Good turn back to the triple bar. Putting together nice little bend in 7 to the Royal West vertical fence 2. See Chris now finishing up. And just cutting down off that angle, pushing off a little crooked over top of fence 3. And then rideability the whole way down to that last jump. 4 or 5 strides away, Chris started to settle and Bobby started to argue. Unfortunately, that last rail also catching up with him. So that's 12 faults to total there for Chris Sorensen and Bobby. Puts them into 8th so far. According to our list, we've got 2 left, but looks like Ben Aslan's going to move up in the order. Of course, Kian, we just saw Kian go. So Ben is going to give Kian a little extra time to get prepared and coming back with his second mount. So Ben's going to move up with Plume de la Roque, 12-year-old gray mare by Cannon, French-bred mare. We saw Ben in August jumping outside, taking home third place in the Longines World Cup qualifier at Thunderbird Show Park. Of course, indoor show jumping now is a different ball game. We really liked this horse for indoor show jumping from the first round. A beautiful type, good athlete. Ben, of course, riding for Team Hermes. Style ambassador for Team Hermes. Good little angle across 11. Snaking right over 12. Plume almost getting a little ahead of herself, taking too much bend. Just ducking right there. Aggressive rollback, pushing on now for Ben.
He's going to have to gallop across. This horse is turning Ben out of the tack a little bit there after the combination.
Absolutely, and that was a nice ride to the triple bar over there in 6, no problems. Hugging that left standard, giving him a little extra room. That back rail just coming down. See that? Ben noticed that 2 steps away out of that corner. Look at the time, though. 42.74, just the 4 faults. That's the fastest time that we've seen. 7th place, unfortunately. That was a great time from Ben and Plume. Such a lovely ride from the triple bar over the Royal West vertical. Gave himself that left side at the vertical at 2, giving a little extra room for the rollback to 3, and just a little slight lapse in concentration from Plume, I think, and then Ben had to push on, cutting down on that back rail. Such a shame. Otherwise, such a great jump-off round for Ben and Plume.
What a wonderful start to their week. Of course, this is their first night jumping. They did not jump the table C last night. So this is their first night this week. Sure, we're going to see them back in the World Cup on Saturday. That's a little bit the problem with doing 6 strides from the triple bar to the vertical is you lose a little bit of the rideability and the smoothness back to the oxer.
That's right, and Plume de la Roque appears to have quite a bit of blood. So if you open her up, sometimes it can take a stride or 2 to reorganize, but from 2 to 3 on that turn back, there's no time to be had. It's simply just riding on. Here we have our final rider in the jump off this evening, the last one to make a difference. This is Kian White from Ontario, riding the 11-year-old mare Carrera Van at Westleven Z. Saw Kian winning last Friday with this mare. So he knows how to win, obviously, with this horse. We'll see. After his first horse on that aggressive approach to the triple bar, we'll see if he makes a small adjustment here for this horse.
Kian and Aaron Ballard working closely together in partnership. So Aaron having a bit of the advantage here, probably giving Kian a few tips, see if their team can't take home first and second. You do see Kian going around here, maybe just hoping for a nice double clean.
That's right, and of course Angel Stone Partners does own this horse for Freedom Z and Apicara, so that is an ownership group. They've got to be happy. 3 in the top 11 tonight. And vertical at fence 6 coming down anyway. So we do, of course, know Aaron Ballard taking home the win with Apicara. A little rub there, getting a little pass. We see Kian grimacing on the landing. Whether that's from the injury he sustained in the warm-up ring the other night, or if Carrera just getting a little strong in the bridle. We see there, even on the way to that last jump, Kian working hard to pick Carrera's head up. So 12 faults to total, 46.68. And Kian schooling a little bit on the landing there. Evidently looked like opening up this horse's stride. Carrera taking advantage a little bit.
So it is Aaron Ballard at the top of our class tonight, and really no contention. She was fast.
Absolutely, no doubt, start to finish. Ben Aslan, of course, closest one to that. He did catch the time, but 1 jump coming down, so 7th place for Ben Aslan. It's 6 horses coming double clear. We've got Aaron Ballard coming in the ring now for her lap of honor. She's borrowing for Freedom Z, Kian White's horse, of course. Aaron Ballard taking home the win tonight with Apicara. Such a fast jump off, beating second place by a couple of seconds even. A lovely ride from Aaron Ballard. Maintaining her composure. Apicara, of course, a very animated horse. Such a smooth jump-off round nonetheless.
Aaron's got to feel really confident with that round from Apicara then going into Saturday night's class. Apicara just really covering the ground. Such an active horse, really rangy canter, and it looked like that was an advantage for her tonight.
And there we see on the replay a little snippet of Apicara in the jump off. Just pedal to the metal, start to finish. She really opened up. She was the first one that we saw do the 6 strides from the triple bar over the fence at number 2. Never taking her hands off the reins, making a lovely jump off. So there's the final results. So we have Aaron Ballard taking home the win with Apicara. Ali Ramsey taking home 2nd place again with her 8-year-old mare, We're going to have Vanessa Mannix coming home in third with her trusty gelding, Nirvana de Tourlong. Lovely result for that local rider, Vanessa Mannix. Laura Jane Tidball, another double clear performance with Prim de l'Hérault. John Anderson, our host at Royal Westing, home 5th place. A nice double clear, a little conservative coming home to that last jump, but nonetheless clear, of course, makes for a nice payday. 5th place in tonight's $46,000 300 Open Classic, presented by GGT Footing and White Line Structures. A great class, Ashton. We've got 2 more FEI classes this week. We've got the Table C Speed again on Friday evening, all in setting up for Saturday night's Longines World Cup qualifier. I think we're going to see a bunch of these riders in top form for Saturday night. The jumps get bigger on Saturday. We've seen a couple of nice meter 45 courses, and it's going to be big. Meter 60 Saturday night. Plenty of excitement.
Again, a Table C class coming up on Friday. I think we'll see a different group of horses and riders there than we will in the World Cup. And the World Cup, of course, being our feature event here at the Royal West.
That's right. As the ring crew just getting set for the award presentations, we're going to bring in those top ribbon winners. Well, thank you guys all for joining us yet again here at Royal West, joining us on FEI TV YouTube. I'm Alex Creighton. Thanks so much for joining us. For Ashton Belcher, hope you enjoyed our commentary this evening, and won't you join us again on Friday night for the Table C Speed and Saturday's Longines World Cup on feitv.org.